Very excited to get into it with you guys. Lots of fun stuff. We have best part of the episode, and it's going to be a runaway favorite, I think. We have Can't Fix Stupid, talking about the earbuds. You have Brownlee and Gibson bromance. You have the Sopranos edit with Salah. And then in a landslide voting victory right now, I've never heard of you. The Aaron Rodgers quote after he got hit by that Giants defensive lineman was so great.
Yeah, that's the highlight of the episode and maybe the series so far. I was looking for I didn't know what I was expecting from it. Like obviously I noticed the game they were pushing back and forth, but the audio was even better than I expected. And I'm glad that I didn't notice this during the game. After he threw the touchdown pass, he went and found him and was like, "Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear."
That's amazing. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, you see how like it all kind of like I've never heard of you. I've never heard of you. BS. Like, I don't know. It was just, this episode to me rang of like team camaraderie, like how close everyone is. We saw with the Brownlee Gibson stuff. You saw with Tanzel Smart interacting with the rest of the defensive linemen, bringing, having breakfast at his house or making the charcuterie board, which came back again in the form of a shirt and bit and whatnot. So love to see that. I would say that the hardest part about this episode is watching it, knowing which guys didn't make the team.
Yeah, there was a lot of Tanzel Smart and Jerome Cap, and you're just sitting there like, ugh, like these guys, like they're easy to root for. And we talked about that earlier on the first show. Like, this is the hardest part about the sport and the business is these guys who get cut and unfortunately lose their job. Like, they're likable guys, they're good players, and unfortunately, it's a numbers game a lot of time. And I feel that way a lot with Tanzel. I like him.
Yeah, I hope he winds up either. I don't know if he can go on the practice squad if there's a certain amount of time that like you can be in the league and not be on the practice squad. I don't think he goes through waivers because I think he's been in the league long enough. So I guess he
doesn't.
Yeah, I hope he sticks with someone. These are like the players you root for, and even if they go to another team, just because they didn't make our roster doesn't mean they're a bad player. It just means we have some really good friggin' players that we can be proud of, and like. It's just rough seeing it because Tanzel's smart and like him and his daughter, like I have a daughter that's 1 year old and like she's saying the dad and the mama and like the very short, like not a sentence, just a few words. So to see that, it's like, oh, dude, I'm right where you're at right now. And like, this sucks.
Yeah, I know because it really humanizes them, which unfortunately, like that's something that gets taken out when you watch the sport from afar. Like you don't. It's just like this guy plays for my favorite team and I want my team to win. That's it. But it goes so much deeper than that. And you're right. It did sting watching those guys in particular.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that these guys are humans, just people like any one of us, sitting in the chat, hanging out here, like legitimately have lives and friends and people they care about. And then it's just taken from them instantly. But as soon as they don that helmet on, it's like they're not a human anymore. They're just this gladiator that goes out there and you're just hoping to see like, the best plays and all the best stuff. But like you see Tanzel Smart getting hurt and he's trying to hide the injury because he knows he can't get hurt and miss snaps because he will not make the team. And like, they're talking to him, they're like, yo, like you got to go get an x-ray. Like, why the emotion? What's going on? And it really humanizes it.
Yeah, that was another part that was, I thought, a tough watch because you could tell on the field when he got hurt, one, he was in pain, but it also looked like, oh shit, like I can't be hurt right now. Like this isn't happening kind of a thing.
Yeah. Horatio Hornblower in the chat says 6 of 16 practice squad guys can have been in the league for more than 2 years. He will likely make a roster though. So he thinks Tanzel will probably make a roster spot, but he could make it to the practice squad if we wanted to hold on to him. I hope he does, I hope he makes a roster somewhere because he's earned it. But worst case scenario, I hope he comes back to us.
Yeah, because then like you're keeping around the familiar face and someone who, if there is an injury and it's the NFL, that stuff happens, you feel comfortable with him, coming in and having a play.
Have you ever heard of the flowbee prior to the Hackett mention of it?
No, I had no idea what he was talking about.
I've seen it a few times come up. I don't know if I've seen it on like random Reddit posts or whatever, but like as soon as he said flowbee, I was like, I actually know what that is. I don't have one. But it seems like a great invention, like sucks up all the hair so you don't get it all like over you.
Yeah, in in theory, right? Like a genius idea. I don't know why. And he said it too. Hackett was like, I don't know how this didn't take off. Like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
No. I love the old hair buzz. I have Becca cuts my hair. It's a little, 2 on the sides, 3, 4 on top. Have barely any hair. Never pay for haircuts.
No, it looks good. If you never told me, I would have never known.
Oh, my wife cuts my hair. What else we got? Rodgers getting heated at the beginning of the episode. Like we heard Cobb, was it last episode or 2 episodes ago, saying like, don't drop the ball. Don't make a mistake. And like he went off on like, we had a false start, which I believe was, it was either Becton or Tippmann. I posted it on my Twitter when it happened. I was like, that's not good. And I didn't realize Rodgers was getting as pissed off as he was in that practice because you can't hear anything when you're sitting in the stands. But like he was mad, dropped passes left and right, and like you saw the emotion come out on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, and it looked, I think it was like our guy Jeremy Ruckert ran the wrong route or like ran it too deep or not deep enough, and that was like the last straw. Rodgers was like, we got the wrong routes, we're running the wrong routes, we had this, and he rattled off like 5 things right in a row, and then he calls Garrett Wilson over, and then they have an amazing drive, the great throw to Allen Lazard in the back of the end zone. It's like, okay, like we snapped this back in gear.
Dude, there was I know the pass for Ruckert because it was right in front of the stands, and we're watching it, and I went back and looked at like the video that I took of it, and Ruckert is enormous. I think it was DJ Reed that was covering him, enormous next to DJ Reed, but he clearly, I guess he must have run too shallow or cut in too early, and like Rodgers put it in a spot and he just couldn't get to it. It's like, yo, dude, don't fuck up because Rodgers ain't gonna throw to you again.
Yeah,
so you want to see that build.
No, exactly. That's tough, and he's going to call you for it, and rightfully so. He has high expectations, and this team has high expectations, and you got to be able to do little things right.
Then we get into the position coaches and some of the room, like the meeting room stuff, and we got to see the links, the weakest link stuff with Quinnen Williams and the defensive line. I thought that was really cool. Like we're only as strong as our weakest link.
Yeah, and everyone going around saying, I will not be the weakest link as they all attach it. That is cool. That's different. Like, that's so football coach. Like, I'm going to bring a chain to work with everyone's name on it, and you're all going to link them together. That's great. I liked in this episode, which is something they did a little bit differently, we saw more like involved in each positional group. Like we got a brief in the running backs, the wide receivers, quarterback room, defensive line. I think even safeties briefly we saw. So that was cool.
Hackett talking about Golden Day and the Tugolicious. I've never heard that term before, but I'm loving the Tugolicious.
Yeah, I like it. And calling out Izzy for not celebrating with the team. He put like every old boomer watching who's like, just flip the ball to the referee. We're not having fun out here. But he's like, no, we're going. He's like, F that. We scored a touchdown. We're gonna celebrate, but do it as a team. Like we did this, accomplished this together. We're gonna rise all ties kind of thing. And he's right.